Well, good afternoon to you. This is K24 Newscut. Let's begin by having a look at what is shaping news this afternoon. United States President Joe Biden hosts President William Ruto for a roundtable discussion on technology uptake at the White House. Kenya Secondary Schools Heads Association raises the red flag over the high number of students yet to report back to school following the Mai Mahiu tragedy 3 weeks ago. Plus, senior citizens call for increased monthly Inua Jamii stipends to enable them overcome the current harsh economic times. Well, K24 Newskit begins right now. I'm Alan Owino. Our sign language interpreter for this session is Walter Asere. In the wake of harsh economic times precipitated by slow economic growth, relatively high inflation, weakening shilling, climate change and recent global developments, senior citizens in the country have called on the government to consider increasing the monthly Inua Jamii stipends to enable them meet their obligations. The elders aged over 70 years are among orphans and vulnerable children alongside persons living with severe disability who receive 2,000 monthly disbursements in the government's cash transfer program. While the money enables them to buy food and sometimes drugs for the ailing, elders who spoke to journalists in Ruiru called for the doubling of the stipend, saying the current allocation does not entirely foot their monthly expenses.
Pesa kupatikana na kurainisha na ndio mambo yakawa yamechelewa, lakini kama vile mnajua serikali imekuja na mikakati mpya, imeweka ile pesa katika bajeti, kwa hivyo itakuwa ngumu sana kuchelewa bila sasa pesa imewekwa katika bajeti na kunakuwa na ule utaratibu umewekwa. Siku hizi mambo ni kidijitali. Hakuna vile ati mama atapoteza pesa zake, akijisajili hapa na bank na utaratibu ufuatwe atapata pesa zake na itakuwa ni kitu ya kufuatilia.
Tunaomba serikali mtuongezee, tunapata 2,000 kweli tunafurahia, lakini mtuongezee kwa 4 ama ngapi. Sasa hiyo, kwa hivyo ndio tunasema serikali tafadhali kwa nyinyi ni kuomba kwenyu tu msaada yenu bila mnatutuona. Tena hizi pesa zinakaa unakaa mpaka unashindwa, uliwachia mahitima, sasa unashindwa. Sasa hizi pesa na zimekaa sana na tutafadhali zikuja haraka. Ndio hawa mahitima niliwachiwa, hata mama ya kwangu ni mama mzee, hawezekani hata kutafutia hao mahitima. Wote wananitegemea na tena wanategemea shule.
The Principal Secretary for Basic Education, Dr. Belio Kipsang, has launched the 2024 School Survey data collection exercise that will cover all schools providing basic education, such as pre-primary, primary, junior secondary schools, and special needs education units for both public and private institutions, as well as all international schools. This is the second school census to be undertaken after the one done in 2007. Let's listen in on the same.
Adequately captured their being in school. And as already mentioned by my colleague, statistics and numbers are so important in anything that we do. And that is why even we in the education sector, when we talk about foundational learning, we mainly deal with issues of literacy and numeracy. Literacy because you have to know what you are doing, and numeracy because you have to appreciate the numbers around you and all the things that are there. And therefore the numbers around our education systems are very important. And as already mentioned by the Director General, when you are dealing with an ecosystem like the education system, it's a huge system. And when you deal with statistics, it is not only about the number of kids who are in school. It's not only about the number of teachers who are available to teach. There are so many other things that you need to know. How many books do we have in our schools? Today, as a country, we pride ourselves as one of the few countries who have a 1-to-1 book ratio for our children in all subjects that we do. So knowing that we have almost 15 million children, then it means if we have 10 teaching areas and 10 learning areas, then it means it is 10 books per child. You can see the numbers. You need to know the number of so many other infrastructural requirements that we need in our schools. Do we require enough desks? Do we have? So there are so many things that we need to appreciate to be able to move forward. We've been saying that in the next 1 year, and which we are starting this month, is that we have to do around 16,000 classrooms for our grade 9 children. We need to check with these census, we shall be able to adequately appreciate better such numbers. And therefore, as we go into this exercise today, and as we start this exercise, it is so important for us as a country. And usually the purpose of the school census is to gather accurate and comprehensive data about our students, our teachers, our infrastructure, and other resources that are in our school setup. This data is a bedrock upon which we will be able to build our plans, to deal with our policies, and to be able to plan well strategies and to enhance our educational landscape. So accurate data is indispensable. It helps us to identify the gaps and the disparities within our systems. It enables us to address effectively that which we must do as a country. Because if we don't invest well into the future, then it becomes very difficult. And it is said that investing into the future is investing in our children. So the most important investment that we do as human beings and as a country is investing in the young ones. And while we would want to invest in them, then we have to adequately understand and know who they are, what numbers we have, what categories do we have. Because among our children, we have various categories of our children. We have our children with special needs. We have our children who are normally in the way that they do. We have our children with special talent. We have our children who have other capacities. We have those who are good in sports, good in creatives. We need to be able to identify and appreciate all these. So as we go into this census, it may not be so much about numbers only. It is so much about what we need to know and going deeper into what we should be able to have as a country. So it will allow us to understand where resources are most needed and to ensure that every child, regardless of their background, has access to quality education. It is said that data-driven decisions lead to better educational outcomes. It improves our school environment and ensures equitable resource distribution. It deals with issues of equity. Because unless we deal with issues of equity, then we may not be able to get the type of society that we require. We need to appreciate every of our own citizens so that as we go forward.
Away from that, health stakeholders in Siaya County have rallied for early detection and treatment of preeclampsia to stem the tide of maternal and neonatal deaths. Commemorating the World Preeclampsia Day at Sega Vocational Training Center, community leaders and health officials underscored the importance of preventive measures, further emphasizing on regular antenatal care and heightened awareness campaigns across the region. Anthony Kwemoi tells us more.
Health practitioners in Siaya County have called for early detection of preeclampsia condition in a bid to reduce deaths caused by the condition. According to statistics, preeclampsia, which is a hypertensive condition, is responsible for deaths of over 500,000 expectant women in the world annually. Speaking in Siaya, Access to Medicine's platform CEO Dorothy Okemo said the condition affects about 4% of expectant women, with those aged between 18 and 35 years at a higher risk.
So preeclampsia is a very bad condition because it is one of the leading causes of maternal and newborn mortality in the world. It is estimated that 500,000 women around the world die because of preeclampsia while they are pregnant or while they are giving birth. In Kenya, the percentage of preeclampsia is about 4% of every pregnant woman. So I must say that this condition is very serious, and especially when you look at the target ages which it affects, which is young girls, and we know that the cases of teenagers and adolescents getting pregnant is very high, particularly in this county of Siaya.
The health experts attending the World Preeclampsia Day commemoration in Ugenya sub-county further added that the best preventive measure is ensuring expectant mothers attend clinics regularly.
Community members, community health promoters, and healthcare workers to make sure that we can sensitize as many people as possible to be able to identify the signs of preeclampsia so that this can be mitigated early enough to ensure that every pregnant mother is able to reach the end stage of that pregnancy in a healthy way, deliver a healthy baby, and still maintain their life.
The Siaya County-based practitioners further noted that measures such as early diagnosis and treatment come in handy in reducing preeclampsia-related deaths.
Today is very important for awareness, because I believe that a lot of our women die. And for me, even one life loss is too much. And so we need to be aware as a community, we need to be aware as health providers. And you know, if it's anything that we can prevent, then really we should prevent it.
I give thanks to Access to Medicine platform, the county government of Siaya, for giving us this opportunity, because preeclampsia affects women in our sub-county, and preeclampsia is one of the complications that even lead to maternal death.
The health experts in one voice reiterated the importance of informing the public about conditions such as preeclampsia in a move aimed at curbing maternal and neonatal deaths in the county and the country at large. Anthony Kwemoi, K24, Nairobi.
The USA is set to launch a new era of technological cooperation with Kenya. The partnership will see the two countries cooperate in cybersecurity, artificial intelligence, and semiconductors. Speaking during roundtable with President Ruto and a delegation of Kenyan leaders at White House, President of the United States of America, Joe Biden, hailed the Ruto-led delegation for prioritizing the partnership. President William Ruto expressed enthusiasm about the project, highlighting a potential growth and innovation in the Kenyan cyberspace.
Ready to partner. Nearly 100% green grid. American businesses have a desire to invest more.
I bring you very warm greetings from the people of Kenya and our brothers and sisters from across the continent. And I undertake this state visit on the background of 60 years of solid friendship between the United States and Kenya. And specifically, Mr. President, on the subject we are driving today here, on the digital space, on technology, and the whole space around investment, trade, and the relationship that we have managed to build over the years. To confirm to you that Kenya is a young tech country, and as you have said correctly, we have spent a lot of time working with our technology companies, our technology investors. We've had twinning relationships between Silicon Savannah in Kenya and Silicon Valley in the US. And this meeting is about what we can do together around digital jobs, business process outsourcing, research and development. And Mr. President, one very important aspect is the CHIPS Act, which hopefully we will be able to have a conversation about in the coming days.
Over 70 exhibitors are showcasing their innovations in the Nanyuki Agricultural Show that seeks to address climate change in Laikipia County. The exercise that kicked off yesterday is focusing on using modern technologies to enhance value addition and improve productivity for sustainable economic growth. Innovators in the banking, hospitality, tourism, and agriculture sectors are among the key exhibitors. The four-day event is expected to attract over 10,000 guests.
tunatarajia ifikapo kesho asubuhi tutakuwa na exhibitor kama 74 tukilinganisha na exhibitor 55 wale tuliokuwa nao mwaka jana. Ningetaka kuchukua fursa hii kualika wenye kutamani kusoma mengi kuhusu kilimo na biashara ambazo zinaambatana na kilimo, wajitokeze wakuje wasome mengi na weze kufurahia pia kwa ajili hata kama ni kilimo na pia kusoma. Pia tuko na maneno ya sherehe na kustarehe.
Tungependa kuhakikishia wananchi wote wale ambao wanakuja kuhudhuria hii show yetu ya Nanyuki SK Show kwamba kuna usalama wa kutosha. Nanyuki ni town ambaye iko na amani sana. Tumeweza kuweka mikakati ya kuhakikisha kwamba wananchi wanalindwa pamoja na mali yao. Na ningependa kuomba kwamba wale wote ambao wanahudhuria hii show wakuje bila tashwishi yote.
3 suspected pineapple thieves have been arrested by the police in Mackenzie area, Gatanga sub-county, Murang'a County, with one left critically injured. This led to a scuffle between local youths and the police following the shooting, which saw the police fire in the air to disperse the crowd. We will bring you more updates on the developments in our subsequent bulletins.
Learning battles.
Representatives from various ministries of health and national HIV programs in Africa have just concluded a meeting in Nairobi aimed at tackling issues related to diagnosing and treating advanced HIV disease and find solutions that will enhance treatment accessibility, facilitate policy changes, and improve the supply chain to end HIV-related deaths. The two-day meeting brought together HIV clinicians, researchers, supply chain specialists, civil society and community groups from across Africa, as well as donors and global stakeholders. The multi-country meeting aimed to further provide updates on the latest epidemiological data, clinical guidelines, and scientific advances. Africa countries also shared country and community level progress and pragmatic challenges, with aid creating a space for cross-regional lesson sharing.
Upon re-engagement, a lot of times they present with advanced HIV disease. In 2022, we had 18,000 AIDS-related mortality, majority of whom was caused by TB, followed by cryptococcal meningitis. Analyzing our own program data shows that up to 1 out of 3 persons living with HIV and new on treatment come with treatment failure, or they come after interruption, come with AHD. In 2018, UNAIDS released a report titled Fast Track to End AIDS by 2030, which targets to reduce new infections and mortality related to AIDS by not fewer than 500,000.
We are working towards ending AIDS, yet this is a war that has not yet been won. There is a lot of advancement in as far as diagnosis is concerned, treatment and prevention,